The ANC is yet to decide whether to disband the KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng provincial executive committees. The issue is topping the agenda of the ANC's National Executive Committee's two-day meeting, which is being held in Boksburg. The disbandment debate follows the ANC's poor performance in the May 2024 elections. Let's chat a bit more about this now at the head of Department of History and Political Studies at the Nelson Mandela University and political analyst, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Thank you so much for that. Thanks indeed for joining us. We do appreciate your time. So what possible scenarios are we looking at in terms of what could come out of these discussions at the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting?
First things first, I don't think that the debate in question has broken out in good faith, largely because it's an open secret that in post-colonial states, liberation movements, they tend to experience a decline in urban centers. A case in point is Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia. So what has happened of late with regard to the dismal failure or the dismal performance of the ANC is not a peculiar phenomenon. It's a normal thing because of the large middle class in urban centers, because of the fact that people in urban centers don't vote in relation to, liberation struggles and so on. And because of the fact that in the rural section of the population, traditional leaders, they tend to have a direct link with the liberation movement. So the point I'm making is that you can't then attribute the failure of the ANC to leaders of Gauteng and KZN, unless, in my view, you are playing politics. And the ANC has been very much inconsistent, because in 2006, I would argue and say that's when the ANC started to experience a huge decline. What did the ANC do? They spoke about collective responsibility. But now they are singling out two provinces. I don't think they will make that call, though, to disband those provinces. Why? Because it will be a miscalculation, because people like Panyaza and other people will be emboldened in the sense that they will go to the branches and mobilize against the national leadership. And you must bear in mind that one of the upcoming events of the ANC this year is the NGC. And in the past, we have seen important decisions being reversed at the NGC. So I don't think they'll go down that road.
And I mean, what possible scenarios, Prof, could we possibly see coming out of this? And who should, as you point out, the focus seems to be on Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. But we're talking about an ANC that, lost right at the top. It did not get, a majority. Where should the focus then instead be if it's not to be perceived that the focus on Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal is, as you say, trying to deal with those two provinces?
The focus should be on the party as a whole, because one might argue and say one of the reasons why there has been a turnout that is very low is because of the slow pace of service delivery due to the national government. So that has nothing to do with the provincial government that is led by other leaders. But also, keep in mind that I've made the point before. The ANC in the past has tended to take full responsibility. This is something new now. I've never seen the ANC singling out this province or that province. And also, why do you leave out other provinces who did not do well? Western Cape. There is also a coalition in Northern Cape. but nobody speaks about that. But my reading of the situation is that the ANC will not make a decision to disband these provinces, because that can backfire on the national leadership in a big way. And there might be other issues also that might be subsumed in a debate of that nature when that argument is pitched at the NGC. I think what they are going to do is to beef up maybe, the leadership of those two provinces to try to assist them. The argument has been that branches are not up to scratch, so maybe they might deploy some senior leaders to try to beef up the leadership.
If we look at, have disbandments in the past brought results? And you've already spoken about, of course, what options, that the ANC might come with. But do disbandments, if at all this will even happen, bring about the change, I guess, that the ANC wants to see in terms of support?
I think the ANC will leave no avenue unexplored. It will not opt for this decision of disbanding the leadership of these two provinces. The disbandments in the past have tended not to yield positive results. They've tended to escalate conflicts. They've tended to escalate factionalism. And I think because local government elections are just around the corner, the ANC will be very strategic not to hurt itself. Because also the other possibility is that some of the people, I'm not going to name names, if they are told that they are no longer leaders, they might want to jump ship and join MK and so on. So I think the party will not make that a decision to sort of disband these structures in two provinces.
Yeah, and I guess with the discussion that is taking place now, top of mind would also be for the ANC, the 2026 local government elections. Definitely that's a factor in whatever decision that they will come to, because they would want to see themselves do better.
Of course, and there are two possibilities. There's no in between. It's either the ANC goes one level up or one level down. I don't want to play the cart before the horse. I've got a gut feeling in terms of what is likely to happen. But I do agree with the analysis of the party, though, that there's a strong nexus between voter turnout and the failure of the ANC to render services. So if the party does not improve services that are rendered to the people because you must remember, local government is, in my view, the most important sphere of government because it is closer to people on the ground. It is in the front line of service delivery. Therefore, the party, I think, would want, in the build-up to that, to be prepared and not, come across to be a house that is divided against itself.
Prof, liberation organizations are saying, there's a clear agenda for regime change, in the region, and that even analysts are not independent in their analysis. Let me get your reaction to that.
The problems of I don't think that they should single out academics or analysts as being problematic. The problem of post-colonial states, on the one hand, it has to do with the failure of liberation movements to promote development for the majority. If I am a mayor and I'm stealing money, I cannot attribute that to the US or to Britain. That is not to say that Africa has not been used as a geopolitical battleground, or Africa is not being used as a center of accumulation to amass wealth. But the point I'm making is that I think liberation movement, at some point, they need to take full responsibility for some of their failures. You must remember, normally liberation movements are not voted to power because of their good track record of service delivery. They are voted to power because of their collective memory, but because of the ushering in of younger voters. I think they've tended at SADC level to be dealt with a blow in a big way, because young people don't vote in relation to liberation struggle. So we're dealing with a multi-layered problem.
Prof, thank you very much indeed. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks indeed on quite a number of issues of importance, of course. Thanks indeed for your time.